Good morning, this is Pigsy. Just in a quick vid, um, basically touch upon the New World Order. I mean, it's been here for some time, and well, basically, if you look at all the control systems that are in place around the world, you got stuff like military tends to be quite standard. The weapons they use, they all kind of mirror each other. The uniforms, they do the salute of the snake. So they do everything. So it's almost like a brand that has franchised out. Of course, they have customised uniforms, but they all wear berets, they all wear camouflage, the boots, even the guns are probably just, most of the bits could be made by the same manufacturer and just sort of rolled out and then just tweaked a little bit for the different countries. And they all got nuclear bombs, but the nukes all the same. Do they even work? So the way they throw around money, but it's these corporate entities that are just positioned around the world that have created this kind of, like I say, the shadow type trade control system there. I mean, there's a shadow government as well that's in place, and it's just been linked up since the dawn of this age of humanity. So there's lots of still getting lots of rubbish from America, war rhetoric. It's a bit like a type of almost like a sort of weird drama, and there's nonsense about Russia hacking, and the suggestion is influencing the results. Hillary wasn't going to win, afraid. I mean, they did try to recount to try to prove that in some way that she had been cheated out of votes or whatever. I think the only person who was cheated in the game was Bernie Sanders. I think he would have been quite good for the role of president as an alternative to, say, Trump if it was given a chance, but he wasn't, because he didn't meet the requirements of the establishment, which wanted something a bit ruthless and somebody a bit more money grabbing. Because I think possibly Hillary would do anything for money. Now, what may be overlooked is that Hillary also made these bold statements about, when I get in, I'm going to go into Syria and, basically bomb it or go to war with it, and basically treading on everyone's toes, because you're making these sort of rules about airspace and, what things should be there and so on. So basically they're going to violate that. They're going to go over and bomb a country they don't have permission to bomb into, and try to start this World War III. And so they know that it would upset Russia, and it's just push it forward, and then they just constantly attack, saying aggression. But when it comes to it, when it comes to, say, Hillary facing up with Putin or having a discussion or anything, it won't happen. So she just run and hide. She'll run and hide from a real situation. I don't think any of them have got any true metal in them. I mean, recently there's also a lot of stuff that's been going on about, like I say, this hacking. But if you see people like John Kerry or this Joe Biden guy, he's they look nervous. They look like they're freaking out a bit. They've got a lot of skeletons in their cupboard yet to come out. I mean, you could always question their past, and they're also afraid about things like 9/11 and so on. Basically, if I was Trump, I'd play it down, and then it's just a case of assassinating it. Well, not assassinating like physically, you have to go around killing people, but you do want to remove all these problems, these problematic groups and people being positioned around your government. They cause no end but trouble. What kind of intelligence agency turns around and gives out leaks this information to the press, saying, "Oh, we've got evidence it's been hacked." They're not a very good intelligence agency. I mean, they can't even tell you the honest truth about things like a 9/11 and other types of situations. They won't leak any information on that. They redact the document and say it's been withheld and stuff like that. So yeah, I can't see how that can work. I think slowly the political mess has just got worse. So there's more puppeteers and people like Obama and so on. they just kind of they're all pulled on by strings. So I think what they're nervous about as well is that they were setting up everything. So I mean, stuff will happen. You've got stuff to do with space weather and this potential planet it's out in the solar system. So it's called a bit of devastation and Nibiru and Nemesis. I have to be clear about what Nemesis. Nemesis is the twin brown dwarf star of Sol, which is our sun, and it drags around planetary bodies. In the past, Sumerian texts were mentioned about well, it basically categorised a certain amount of planetary bodies, and suggests there was a collision at some point, and this thing's huge. Whether it's still there or not, who knows? A lot's changed since it was last there, and how far out in space it goes, and what else is out there, just dragging in these large planetary bodies and dropping off. We might even have a few extra ones in our solar system now. I think originally there was about 12 planets at least. So whatever's happened since then, and X amount of moons, whether moons have just sort of dropped off. You know, how does a planet get a moon? I mean, they could say it's how it gets formed, but even then that's confusing. How exactly that gets formed? I think the universe is more likely to be an electric type universe than this sort of just spinning matter. I think it got to the point is that what you see isn't what's actually there. If that sounds odd, well, maybe it is. You know, if you look at an object, the object contains lots of energy. It's atomic in its state, and it's so it's not just like if you look at a cup of water, it's not just water. There's a lot more. There's the element there, and everything that creates the element. So yeah, there's a lot more there. I did do an experiment. It was by chance, actually. It might be to do with cosmic radiation boost coming through and this other stuff. But I was in the bath. I do a hand. It's like Tai Chi exercise where you could sort of hold a ball from either side. But I sort of had that. I had my hands further down where my knees were in the water, and I could feel the ball there. And I thought, that's strange. So I was just messing around with that. I was you know, I hope I could actually pull out a ball of water out of the bath, but what it teaches me is that you kind of got it's more of a quantum type field. So if you lifted your hands up and put it in the skin of the water, you'll notice between the gaps between your hands that the vibrations would be a lot faster on the skins of the water than it would on the outside of it. And that's by trying to keep your hands as still as possible as well, not sort of generating any type of movement. It just seems interesting that happened. And I think that's one of the main key features. If the planet's knocking out a more stronger sort of toroidal field, your bodies probably are as well if they're getting hit by any kind of energy out there. So you just need to keep yourself healthy and strong. I've got a slight cold that I've had since last Friday. That's about a week ago. And in the last 3 days I've had like a nosebleed for 3 days, which is not normal. It's that you have a cold and your nose is all sort of like bloody raw at the back of it, and you kind of, I mean, it makes sense to try to bleed out the cold, but it doesn't. That usually happens once. Usually, like if you've got a really bad cold, you get a nosebleed and that's it. But this hasn't had that effect. It's been more in the long term, which is a bit unusual. That's why I'm concerned about radiation, because I've heard about radiation going up, and it's likely to be a big problem for people. That this is an unseen enemy. So yeah. Anyway, this is Piggy signing off, and I'll speak to you soon.